you think this is going to feel like a normal surfboard, or will it just feel like a monster?
It's got 27 horsepower. It can go up to 35 miles an hour. Yeah.
Wow. Should I be worried about you?
I'm a little worried about me. Let's see how it goes.
All right, Brent, so why are we in Sweden?
Same reason everybody comes to Sweden, for the surfing.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
Sweden doesn't really have waves.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who love the feeling of surfing, so you have to put the power of the wave into the board itself. There's a company called Lind out of Stockholm, Sweden, and they make an electric surfboard. That's something that's existed before, but the way they do it is really unique. They managed to pack 27 horsepower into this tiny little craft, and it goes like a bat out of hell.
The power we squeezed into this thing, it's very hard to do.
Every part we're really pushing to the limit of like how small we can pack everything. We wanted to double the power of anything else on the market.
The jet shoots you up to like 40 miles an hour in an instant, and it turns on a dime.
It's a Ferrari in the water. It's more than most people need, to be honest.
I was in university. I heard about this student project. They were developing this prototype of an electric surfboard. So I took a bank loan, invested in the company. I was in my early 20s. I really had no idea what I was doing. There's one thing to do a prototype and then a whole other thing to make a commercially viable product. The hardware was really difficult to get right. That company later on went bankrupt. And so I had a lot of experience in what not to do. I got to do this again, but do it right this time.
Great product design is a blend of emotion and rationality. Engineering and art, that balance is just what it's all about. That's what's hard to achieve.
I got a surfboard from a well-known shaper, and then I brought it back to the team and said, this is your footprint. You cannot exceed this board. If we do, it's not going to turn. It needs to behave like a board. We sort of flipped the whole model on its head and started with the art instead of the technology.
It was more complicated than I ever thought it would be when I started, that's for sure.
So you have a dual motor drivetrain, 2 motors that powers a gearbox. And those motors spins around 30,000 rounds per minute. And the gear sort of turns that down to maybe 8,000 laps per minute.
This is a very traditional like jetboard motor that has been used in the past. Ultimately, the weight of both of our motors and the gearbox is still lighter than this one big motor while outputting twice as much power.
Basically, all of these parts are custom designed.
Yeah, we really went off the deep end on doing everything, even the motors that we're using. We want it to be as maintenance-free as possible. We wanted it to be modular and avoid having the user need to use a bunch of different tools and stuff.
You just want products nowadays to be easy to own, easy to manage, easy to transport.
I'm responsible for quality assurance of our boards. I'm one of the people that like to go and look at the tiny little details. So making sure that our modules are waterproof, if they function correctly electronically speaking, if the software runs smoothly. And it's nice to be part of something that you can actually, see and touch and then go riding.
How's the weight of the backpack? It's heavy for sure. I mean, the board itself is actually pretty light. Yeah. But this is, the battery and the motor itself. I mean, I wouldn't want to hike too far with it, but I mean, I would take this a mile or two, and yeah, I think it would be all right.
There you go. We decided to split the weight in 3 modules. So this is the jet, the 20 kilowatts, 27 horsepower. And then you have the battery that goes up here in the front. And you just slide it all the way up to the top. Lower the lever, and then it locks into place like that.
This is the brain of our surfboard. 17 kilograms of raw power, 3.1 kilowatt hours packed into this small format. This is all the lithium-ion battery cells. It's the same type of cells in an electric car. This battery and our drivetrain can deliver 20 kilowatts of power. That's equivalent to 27 horsepower, which is an incredible amount of power in a board this size.
There's 15 gears.
Yeah.
Usually I'm max on 8 or 7.
Okay.
So I wouldn't go further than that on your first attempt. And when you get up, you want to be more in the front of the board than you think.
Okay.
And when you want to make a turn,
Yeah.
you lean the direction you want. And you could also move around a little bit on the board. And back.
Thank you. See how this goes. Experiencing it, like all that engineering is hidden, right? The only thing the screen shows you at that point is how fast you're going and how much battery you got left.
It's just outrageously fun. It's like my cheeks hurt from smiling so hard just the whole time.
Awesome. How does it compare to like a snowboard or a regular surfboard?
I mean, this goes faster than I've ever gone on a surfboard for sure, by a lot. But with a surfboard, there's gravity at play, which is where you're getting your speed in addition to the push of the wave. Whereas this, there's no ramp, it's just flat water. So you don't have that sense of rising and falling along the wave. It's just this steady cruising. But man, it's just so fun. It's just so ridiculously fun. Yeah. As an adrenaline junkie, it's just like a huge win, right? It could go faster, and that felt borderline like what I could handle and felt almost dangerous.
I mean, you were going fast.
It felt like I was going fast.
We were all on the boat. We were all saying, oh my God, he's going fast.
If you are falling off and you forget to let go of the trigger, that board's going to keep on going. And with inertia, because it weighs 70 pounds.
Right.
If you're near boats or rocks or anything like
or
that.
Other people.
Or other people, it could hit that. The connection breaks when the remote hits the water.
Okay.
But I would like to see some sort of sensor, pressure sensor or something on the deck that lets the board know that you've fallen off or falling off.
Yeah.
Just cut power right away, you know? Other than that, like, I don't have a lot of criticisms. Like, for a first generation product.
It is amazing that they have basically gone from nothing all the way to a product that's actually pretty damn good and kind of top of its class within 3 years.
Yeah.
You know? They've really found a spot at the confluence of elegant design and like intense engineering, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get this thing down in price and in weight in the next couple of years.
Yeah, $25,000 is tremendously expensive. And, you know, especially for people who just want to surf and play in the elements, like that's a lot.
This technology is not cheap. In the early days especially, you need to price it at a point where you can afford to run a business and continue developing the product.
We've been learning fast, but it's also, it humbles you a bit. There are so many things in hardware that you can potentially not work. But as you've seen, I mean, we have this fantastic team of rock star engineers here.
We tried to build like the supercar first, and then we're gonna just continue to cost optimize everything, figure out exactly how much power we need. For me, a version 2 would let more people experience this awesome thing.
You could hike it to an alpine lake, you know, surf where nobody's ever surfed before.
I think that's the beauty of the sport. You can turn your backyard into sort of a playground.
It's super valuable to see the feedback when, you know, the burning eyes that come back and be like, wow, this was such a great ride. Someone being there in nature, just losing themselves for a moment.